Okay, good morning, everybody. Looks like we're all set. My name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. It is March 3rd, 2022. Let's go ahead and kick it off with just looking at where we are. S&Ps are essentially opening slightly down in the morning session. We're pretty much flat from yesterday's close in the ES futures, and where the overall expected move for the SPX sits, we do have a full expected move to the upside that is yet to be tested. Market did have that sort of Tuesday drawdown or pullback in the overall bullish momentum from the low. And so far, we're still sort of trading mid-range. What I find interesting is that the Friday close and yesterday's close coincide. So essentially, if you had opened a position in the S&Ps from last week close, you're essentially flat on the past couple of sessions. So amidst all this volatility, some of the back and forth trade we got on Tuesday, S&Ps really haven't done much. So there really isn't much notional change from this relative close. Now, we're also looking at the perspective of whether the S&Ps are starting to maybe breach this downtrend retracement line. Yesterday was another sort of bullish uptrending type of day. We've seen a lot of these past sessions. And what this looks like is there really isn't a lot of significant topping or bottoming tails. The market tends to pick a direction at some point in the day and basically just continues in that direction, whether it be bullish or bearish. Usually that's what our some of our key levels are there for. But overall, being a trend trader these past couple of probably a week or two, regardless of the directional bias, has been one of the more advantageous ways to trade this volatile market. If the market chooses to go up, stick with that thesis until it fails. Market tends to go down, probably stick with that thesis on the day until it fails as well. So some other things to call out here, and I'm going to go ahead and go to a smaller time frame. Our relative area of trade right now is somewhat caught between what we had before, which was a pretty tight volatility box in the market. Essentially, the VIX did spike above 30 during this previous month. And during this period of trade, this was some of the more volatile trading activity we had, especially with gap ups and gap downs in the market, moves from high to low. It looks like a range conceptually, but it's a pretty volatile one to trade. We've seen similar price action over the past couple of days, low to high, sort of high to low on Tuesday. What we're starting to look for here is, are we starting to maybe trade slightly above, and ideally looking for a scenario like this, where obviously the market needs to expand away from this range to get some clarity. And then, of course, if it's going to fail once again, probably want to be looking for the pre-market high and yesterday's high to be the absolute high, basically to mark the top of the range once again, and then see another sell-off type session back below the downtrend retracement line, and then obviously fading back into areas of support. Volatility boxes tend to have support at the bottom. So this is where the S&Ps are. It's where the trade has been. It's what we've been dealing with over the past couple of sessions. And while the bull flag thesis is technically still in play, if we don't expand from this anytime soon, the downside can take place with any new news or any catalyst that we see for that market response to. We did have some notable shakeup in certain marketplaces from yesterday's press conference from Federal Chair Jerome Powell. Bond market has actually been pretty wild trade over the past couple of days. If you've been paying attention to interest rate volatility, this is pretty massive swings from low to high. We're talking about a 10-year interest rate that's changing by the tune of about 1% per session. So this is, or sorry, 0.1% per session. That would be a little bit too wild. But that said, this is a pretty wild trade in the bond market. Certainly something you can take advantage of as a trader. There are some technical levels in TLT that have been working quite well. I've got a couple of them marked here. We've got some absolute lows that are providing support, some swing lows providing the most recent resistance. And then, of course, yesterday, this is one of the deepest sell swings that we've seen in a long time. It's equivalent to the range seen back in November. And if you recall, this is actually the day of another federal chair sort of announcement. There was some release of information. This is where the discussion of rate hikes essentially began. The Fed took on a more hawkish tone during this period, and the bond market afterwards did see about a week of downside activity. So just kind of showing the equivalent price ranges here, time frames of when these are taking place, usually in response to federal chair action, Federal Reserve action. But from a technical sense, we are seeing rejection off resistance, massive sell swing, and this is continuing this morning, albeit we have found a little bit of relative support. So the idea for this is if the bond market is beginning to form another deep sell swing, something that's going to break, let's say 135 in TLT, then we need to anticipate the idea that the interest rates, TNX, for example, and more closely following /ZN for the 10-year bond market, this can provide fuel for another sell swing in the tech sector. Essentially, tech has been somewhat beaten down, and that's been pretty much heavily correlated to a sell-off in the bond market. Tech likes rising bond prices, which is falling interest rates. This environment has not been kind to tech stocks, and this has started approximately at the beginning of the year. So are we seeing another sell swing? Are we about to experience just some more wild volatility? I would say right now we're definitely in the volatile sort of price range time frame, but we need to prepare for the eventual possibility that we do form another swing low in the bond market. So to prep for that, be watching some of the impacts that this does have to things like XLK. We'll also look at some potential growth names, still in very clear just overall downtrends. But similar to the S&Ps, if you swing this out slightly, we're trying to breach maybe a relative downtrend retracement line in a bull flag style fashion. So trying to change the short-term trend. Long-term picture here is that we have broken major trend lines, and we might be still preparing for the eventual back test, or just prepping for sort of a counter rally in the market before eventually seeing another sell swing in the future. Now, based around what some of the discussion from yesterday's press conference, Jerome Powell did indicate that the idea of a double rate hike in March was essentially off the table. The marketplace as a whole has been reducing this probability to, at this point, 0%. There is essentially no prediction that that is going to occur, but it does look as if we're getting the expected 25 basis point rate hike in March. So basically, market kind of has been preparing for this in a lot of ways, and we're seeing, the actual behavior from the Fed match the market's expectation. So hopefully that's going to be a bit of a relief type rally for the marketplace. If the expected does occur and the market has priced it in, usually the market can kind of shake that information off and move forward. But this big picture here, we're still in a high inflation environment, and we still have a lot of risk factors going on with our current geopolitical situation. Crude continues to be in focus. This is essentially crude hitting multi-year highs. And I've gone ahead and marked some relative highs in crude, basically showing that once you start to break into a range, regardless of the situation, you tend to test the top end of the range most of the time. No matter how volatile things seem to be, this is just technical analysis 101. Ranges are meant to be traversed. Usually you won't see major rejection until you get to the top end of the range. And even if you do get to the top end, it doesn't have to necessarily contract initially. However, we are at the resistance point of a range set for crude back in February 2011, roughly. I think April 2011. So if crude is going to back down, I would say from a technical sense, the risk to reward here is getting pretty poor for bulls who are inside of this momentum trade in the market. I would be looking to see if there's any profit taking going on in crude that would look like some sort of daily or weekly rejection. And I would see what impact that has for XLE. A lot of stocks in this market have experienced massive breakouts. They are getting a bit overextended, and some of them are already putting up signs of weakening momentum. This is often a point on a more parabolic type setup where profit taking can occur. But as always, the market likes to be a little tricky. Usually near these tops, they often like to print slightly higher prices before seeing the actual sell-off. So I want to caution those who are maybe thinking about fading or shorting some of these crude stocks as a counter play. We're getting to the right levels. We're not necessarily seeing the right signals yet. So stepping into these, you might want to think about risk-defined positions. Obviously, counter trend, this can move against you very quickly, very aggressively. So you just want to protect yourself if you're wrong. Whatever that looks like, shares, options, whatever. But additionally, you might also think about selling some of this elevated premium. A lot of these stocks are overextended, and they're doing so with a rising IV. Most of them are outside of their expected move, for example. And this is where, as an option trader, there's some opportunity here, because when you get such massive breaches like this is a weekly expected move range. This is about 5 times outside of it. It's massive. Whenever that happens, the fade is often just as sort of attractive from a directional standpoint as the actual breakout. Obviously, right technical signals will help, but we're getting to the right levels. And this is a area of the market that's moving. So it's in focus, and just like some of these other setups, metals starting to get a bit extended. We've already moved from low to high, pull back. We're starting to facilitate the full extension here. Normally I would say if you can make a move and then you can double it, that tends to be the target. If we can find these tops, obviously starting to take profit if you're involved in these trades, and additionally some bearish or just neutral activity coming in to counter such aggressive breakouts. So crude in focus, metals in focus this week. A lot of commodity products, the same concept applies here. There's discussion about some of the wheat exports. Soybean and corn are just taking the same sort of impacts. We looked at these yesterday. Wheat ETF, massive sort of volatility near the highs. A lot of these other commodity products are simply trending, but seeing some heightened volatility near these breakout points. And additionally, fertilizer has become sort of another discussion about the impact that's currently going on with sanctions against Russia. Fertilizer is essentially what's needed to basically to cultivate these crops. The fertilizer supply chain, usually urea, potash, and some of the underlying products that create good fertilizer product, all of those are being impacted by what's going on in Russia. There's some sort of counterplay there with Belarus, how they're using different Russian ports potentially to ship these products, but most of these ports are either blocked or overloaded. So there's definitely going to be some strain in the short term, and that's going to impact a lot of these trades if you are looking to get involved with them. Once again, looking at the chart perspective, these are bullish charts overall, but they're getting to the point where you might want to either look for profit taking or maybe even the counterplay as we wait for the pullback. Getting into them now, it's a bit extended. You're taking a large risk back to the downside. And of course, if things sort of change in the geopolitical realm, this is going to have a direct impact on these trades. You'll see them counter these moves very quickly. So all that said, that's what's in focus for the week. There's a couple of earnings that are in play today. Snow, for example, had its earnings. We had an expected move on Snow of about 30 points this week. That was coming into earnings. And as you can see, Snow did not move 30 points. Snow moved about 70 to 75 points. So we're way outside of expected move. If I'm looking at weekly support, 184.71 is the absolute low for this chart. If I look at where earnings stopped, they stopped at 184. So support resistance dynamics are in play here. Expected move dynamics are in play with how far extended this thing is. The more likely scenario is that we do return to test something like 230. That's the back test scenario. Expected move also sits around 230, so some option volume will be sitting there. But we're also looking at a possible fade play. This is a weak chart, so whenever this does sort of pause out, there might be sort of a downtrend we can capture here on an intraday basis. Additionally, ChargePoint reported earnings, about $1.70 expected move. And based on its close, it did move $1.70 pretty much exactly. So from 14 to 15.75. We're sitting, near that mid-range, so we are maybe looking for some clarity here. There is the potential for a weekly breakout if it goes bullish, which would also be sort of a daily higher low. And then, of course, the trend change scenario off of this reversal candle printed a couple of days prior. So all that said, it is Thursday. So if y'all have some stocks that y'all wish to look at, go ahead and place them in the chat and we will take a look. Ford. So Ford came out with some news about separation of their EV, I guess, department compared to their ICE department, or I guess the rest of their company's department. Ford's sitting at the 200, so relative support. Bullish day yesterday. This is a reversal 2-day setup because bears came in the day before and bulls took over. Not only did they take over, they negated. So right now this is bullish. We're sitting pretty close to the current resistance, which is this gap. And if I look at what's going on right now, we're still uptrending. So to me, I would be on the lookout for some of these targets to reject. And if they don't, I would play towards some upper bounds here, or maybe look to, the risk to reward here is kind of getting a little challenging because it's already moved a lot. This zone is resistance. I would not play for a gap fill quite yet. We're not set up well for that. But if this chart can also put a little pullback somewhere and then get another extension, I think this gap has a chance to maybe fill in the future. You're basing it off of the support that's built here. So Ford's okay. Might not be the best stock today, but it had a great day yesterday, so I can't discount it just yet. I just want to avoid trading directly into resistance. And then, of course, in the case of a bullish uptrend on the shorter time frame, the rejection there might not necessarily lead to weakness just yet. It might take a couple days to turn. And that's where I want to trade it bearish. But first, let's see how far the bulls go. UCO, what is this? Ultra Bloomberg 2017 ETF. I'm not sure what this is, so I don't have comments on what it's tracking. I can take a look at its technicals and say that it's in a massive breakout, but it's going parabolic. A lot of these things are starting to go parabolic. They're getting extended from their uptrend. Their uptrend is simply where have pullbacks been bought before, 20 period or some rising trend line. This is extended. So if you're chasing this chart from a bull perspective, your risk is high. That's the idea behind it, overextension. Can it go higher? Yes. So far, the bears have not proven anything. There's been a higher high and a higher low past 2 days. What's occurring right now is that we're getting another upper print. So I'd watch it today to see if there's any bearish reaction, because we have an hourly uptrend pulling back to the 20. This is the pullback hourly buy. So far, bears have to step up on this parabolic to put the top, and they haven't. So this can continue going. You're just getting into a riskier scenario. Definitely be on the lookout for, if the hourly trend changes, that'll signal some profit taking for a lot of people. PSTG, Pure Storage earnings. Okay. I didn't know about this one. So 3.5 expected move on the week. We closed at 26. We went to 29. So not to be a broken record here, but the expected move is working for these stocks. They're not really beating expectation from the option perspective, but we are looking at a weekly breakout right now. So let's go ahead and mark this relative high and look at what that looks like on the earnings play. Yeah, so this is a weekly breakout right now. I'd probably still be looking bullish. Just avoid 30 impacting the chart too much, and keep in the back of your mind that right now the expected move is $3.50. So even if it looks bullish, we could get to 30, which completes the expected move range, and then we could fade for the rest of the week. So, it looks bullish from the technicals. The expected move is saying you're running out of room. That's the counter to this play. But, good little daily, weekly double bottom and a weekly breakout. I can't discount that. Buyers can step into this. Absolutely. They could see the change. They could step in. Bears have to stop out at some point. So this looks fine. Just keep the expected move in mind. All right. So we did 3 from the chat, and we'll do 2 or 3 from YouTube. BBY. I like to keep it on the weekly just to get some clarity. Massive buy-up candle here is a big reversal signal for this particular stock. It's the monthly 50. This is where buys tend to be, like the absolute lows of sell swings tend to form. So I like where it is. I like location-wise. Daily, pretty much did the full move from low to high. So that's the weekly candle that's formed. And then earnings. Earnings has placed things, where did we close? We closed at about 100. We're going up to 111. It's uptrending right now. They priced in $11. Broken record here. The expected move says we're done. So bullish uptrend, I get that. We move from 100 to 110, 111. This part of the move might be over. And what you're going to see, if that's true, is that we're going to reject off the 200-day moving average. I am not a fan of going long against the 200-day moving average, regardless of how bullish it looks in the short term. I think the risk to reward is better to look for the short. So you want my opinion on this one? Expected move says you're done. For the long, 200-day moving average is going to be a big one to break. I'd rather play the fade today. And I think you're going to find that this stock is probably going to start a little strong in the morning, like a kind of a trap, and then probably sell. Or at the very least, stay in this range, somewhere between 105 and 110. So weekly breakout, once again, I'm not discounting the location. I'm just discounting the fact that we've moved already and we're against resistance. So be careful. SoFi. Sold off yesterday. Probably not in play. Let this one move. I think after this type of volatility, earnings and people unwinding their earnings option trades is going to make this thing not very volatile. There's going to be lots of open interest at 11 and 10, and there's massive walls of calls above 12. So one of these kind of levels has to break for it to start moving again. And while yesterday was a nice sell-off, we're kind of back at this area that I find a lot of indecision to be on SoFi. And this is coming from me having traded it intraday. So I kind of know how the stock behaves. If it moves, so be it. I'm just thinking that today it's probably only going to move like 50 cents to $1 at most. If that's good enough for you, play the trend intraday. I don't have a lot of bias on it in either direction. So, and last but not least, NEO. So NEO daily higher low trying to form. I think with the stock market potentially going a bit more bullish, NEO is a riskier stock in the market. It's equivalent to any of the EVs that have sold off a lot. There is some amount of correlation still taking place with Tesla. I'm not the most bullish person on Tesla, but I am a bull on this flag, which is a channel. You buy these lows, it works every single time so far. You sell mid-range or you sell at the high, and then you avoid the volatility, the traps above the channel. This has been working for the past couple of months, regardless of your bias on Tesla. We've lost trend on Tesla, and this can be a back test. So I'm starting to wonder what's going to happen next on Tesla, because we're in a decision point, and I think NEO could be impacted by that. But short term, and just looking at NEO, kind of forming the daily higher low, I would like to see the confirmation. So I want to be bullish NEO, because it has put up a nice reversal. It's back testing where I think support is. I want to see confirmation. That's going to force shorts to cover, and it's going to make it a better intraday trading stock. Otherwise, a decision is still being made and the volatility is lower because of that. So just keep that in mind because it is coming into earnings next week. That's going to be the catalyst that I think will help. So, all right. With that said, my name is Jared. I do have to run. So thank y'all. Have a great week. We'll talk more next week. Trade safe and talk to y'all soon.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone is having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, my friend. Doing good. Guys, let's get into it. Let's take a look at our watch list from yesterday. The markets were, for me at least, a little rough yesterday. A lot of things didn't trade very well. We had one initial pop early in the morning, and then from there, just things kind of went sideways. We know Powell was talking the entire time, the entire morning, right? It felt like, and the market was just a lot of stuff was untradeable during that time. Yeah, it's just you're getting volume, but you were not getting clean volume. And then after he was done, you had a pop, right? I believe it was around this time here. I forget the exact time. It was actually no, it was a little later. And then a lot of stuff just went sideways. So again, not the best trading day for many of the stocks we had in play. Here's JWN, and this actually had an amazing pre-market activity, an incredible open, very strong here. It was up nice. It was up like a 20% plus there. Gave some back in the pre-market and then took off nicely. Here was SoFi. SoFi very choppy in the pre-market action. You had just a lot of back and forth happening here. But at the open, this is when the fun started on this one. Look at this beautiful drop you got here. And a beautiful continuation on top of that as well. Very difficult to trade this stock. And I was watching it closely. And it's just the price action on this one, man. The up and downs, the pullbacks, the way it flows, it is not smooth. Looks smooth now, but if you're watching this one, you could tell it is not an easy stock to get into. And that has been my issue with SoFi. I don't think I have traded SoFi yet, since it has become in play the last couple of weeks, maybe a month or two. Here's Oxy. Again, just not a whole lot going on. A lot of choppiness in the morning and then and after in the midday as well. The Apple, same situation. You did get a little pop here a few times when positive things were being said in the market, but overall, it's just again not a great trading day, and you see that across the board in a lot of these trading stocks. Rivian, beautiful short. By the time I saw this was too late, but man, this was real nice yesterday. Man, just overall weakness pre-market and just ran nicely. No, I'm not sure if you took advantage of that one. I missed it.
Yes, that
But
was my trade
man,
yesterday.
that was sweet, sweet, sweet. So there it is. That's why we kept Rivian. We knew Rivian looked good yesterday. You mentioned it too. You know, you're gonna be watching that one, and that one out of all the tickers we had, probably one of the best ones I traded yesterday. So, all right, Excellent. Our gappers list this morning, a little bit, got a couple of things on both sides, green and red. Quickly looking at these tickers, I see some from earnings last night. Not a blockbuster list just yet, but we'll see how things develop here. Norm, overall market data today.
Well, based on what you just said, you're not going to have a good day today either, because our friend Jay Powell will be back. Yesterday, he was testifying in the House. Today, he will be testifying in the Senate. Very, very interesting yesterday. It could be wrong. I don't remember a time ever in which a Fed president specifically said what action the FOMC was going to take in its next meeting, to the degree of even saying it's how big of a rate hike it's going to be. He straight up said, we are going to raise a quarter percentage point, 25 basis points in our next meeting in, next week or the week after, our March meeting. So that was part of what was causing that movement yesterday. I mean, overall, the market for the most part, had a good day yesterday, but we'll see. The second day when he does these congressional testimonies, and the first day he's in one chamber and the next day he's in the other chamber, usually there's not a whole lot of new news the next day. So anyway, we just had jobless claims. Continuing claims come out. Initial claims were a little bit lighter than expected, not much. Continuing claims were roughly in line with expectations. Productivity, unit labor cost. I love my spelling there. Sorry, on the sheet. 9:45, we got market services, PMI, and ISM services index. 10 a.m. factory orders, capital equipment orders as well. Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we sure will, my friends. Okay, let's get to our list today, guys. Let's remove what we had yesterday. We're going to keep a few on here. I'm just going to add those on right away. I know we're going to keep, at least I am, going to keep Apple. I'm still going to be looking at Facebook. I know we both are. No, I'm just kind of waiting for when things are going to turn around there. NVIDIA, and I know we'll be looking at AMD. So at least these three, I know that we've been keeping a close eye on. Did I miss any of the ones we are keeping a close eye on? I think this is it for now.
The Book of Face.
The Book of Face, Facebook. Yes, I have that on there. Yep. Meta added on there. I see AMD starting to do some stuff here. This looks pretty good. Apple has 1 million shares traded. So again, these already, you're seeing some good volume on them right now. But AMD's pre-market looks interesting. Let's get to our list, starting off with Indo. And this one, what we have going on here, 1.5 million shares traded. Look at the pop. See, I told you guys, man, this thing here, holding here, was interesting. And when it holds like that's good. And the next day you have this pop here, that's a good move there. Unfortunately, I'm not a low flow trader like that, but this one looking pretty good this morning, right? Nice, beautiful breakout and pop here. We're up 43%. I mean, yeah, this is I forget what the catalyst was for this one, Norm, but whatever it is, it's getting high on it right now. So
oil and gas.
Good. Yeah, excellent. So looking good there. Not Cisco, almost as Cisco. This is CISO, not to be confused with a missing C there. But this one looks like trash. Don't see anything going on there. So we'll skip on that, guys. Again, just for what we're looking for, it's not looking any good here. Billy, this morning we are up 9.4 right now.
Gotta love the name of the company though, Cerberus. You know, it's it's the three-headed dog that this is a cybersecurity company. I agree, it looks like garbage, but Cerberus is a three-headed dog that guards the gates of hell.
Oh, okay, there we go.
There's also a private equity firm, a very large one named Cerberus, which I always thought was a little bit ominous for financiers to be naming themselves that.
Yeah, that's a little strange. Security, I kind of get this. This makes perfect sense. Here we go, guys. Billy up next. Again, doesn't look good, guys. Interesting stuff, but just doesn't look great for us right now. A lot of security companies, as you know, with everything going on, have been popping up there. But if you notice, a lot of these security companies, they're just horrible intraday trading stocks, right? They just don't get a lot of movement. So just keep that in mind. Here is we have Billy.
Love Indo popping up on here because there's jokes every morning.
Yeah, and actually today,
Dan over on YouTube saying, not sure it's good to start every day with Indo, becoming a habit.
Nice.
You
Nice,
know,
Ben.
AJ 420 here in the room. An Indo Catalyst equals gin and juice. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Is AJ 420, was that your name before, or did you change
He's
your
been,
name now?
no, it's been AJ
Very
420.
nice. Indo is a new aloe. I don't know. I don't know if it's a new aloe. I
Right.
think Indo looks. If you're a low flow trader, this is definitely something
That
you're
was a
looking
good
at.
pop. And we talked about
Yeah,
that yesterday. Yesterday or the day before, as it held that. Usually, when
yeah,
those when they get the pops, they lose it relatively quickly.
yeah.
That holding it was if you were keeping an eye on that, and it was
This
your
hold
kind of
here,
trade,
yeah.
then yeah, that was a
This is the interesting one. Yesterday when it
pretty good
gapped up
indicator.
and it didn't pop down, and we mentioned that, but again, it just didn't really watch these low flow things. Heading down to Billy guys this morning. They got initial pop here, going flat right now. They can be very active. We have traded them before in the past. I'm gonna add Billy to our list here.
Did the
Billy.
earnings this morning?
Oh, they did. Okay, nice, nice. We'll see how that's gonna play out for them. ChargePoint had earnings last night. I know that because we were looking at it with in Ed's room. Today they're up 7.2, 115,000. It didn't do a whole much here, I guess. So we'll have to see. They can get
Volume's
going.
been pretty light. I've had this on my
Yeah,
list to keep an eye on it. I've been surprised at the light volume. I'm sure that'll pick up. It is NYSE.
yeah,
Usually there's
yeah.
not as much pre-market volume in the NYSE stuff.
We'll see how ChargePoint does here. A lot of these EV or energy plays, right? We had Plug a few days ago as well. AI here, no, not looking any good. I don't like this movement we're getting here. KR is earnings. This is Kroger. Oh, they don't trade well.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't trade
Kroger
well.
on occasion can trade well, on
Yeah,
rare
yeah.
occasion. I will say that.
If it's one
With
today,
earnings, it
might.
could be. Yeah, today
Yeah,
it might. It's got the
yeah,
volume. We'll see. Once again,
yeah.
NYSE. We'll see once the market opens.
All right. If I have space, I'll add this to my secondary list. See what we get there. AI we looked at it, and VALE here not any good. Pre-market actions all over the place. You got a good daily here, but overall pre-market is not looking great. I like the daily. It's been strong the last couple of days here, but I recall this not being a great intraday trading stock, and that's why I'm not rushing to put it on my list. Let's see if we find something better. Snow this morning, we had this before. This is gapping down 20%, so a huge drop
So
for
we're
them
long
today.
Indo and short snow.
That's what it looks like, man.
Okay.
This one dropping nicely this morning, and again, I think we saw this before. Look how thin this thing trades at $270. Look how thin this is trading. I mean, less than what 5 million shares. We had a big day yesterday, where they had earnings or something.
You don't like the
Um,
$100 5-minute candle?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one for some reason. um,
They had earnings last night, and their guidance was rough.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just be careful, guys. If you're going to be looking at this one again, they are in play. If this is your style of trading, they are in play, no question. I mean, almost a million shares trade. You can see the pre-market is very nice here. They have a catalyst and they're gapping down. So, I'm going to put it here because I know somebody's going to keep throwing it out if they don't see it here. So we'll put it here because the numbers, everything looks good. It's just this stock can be tough to trade. Heading down RSI. This is no activity. You're down 18%, but I just don't see no volume on this at all. So we need more action out of that one. BP, we know this has been active along with Oxy and all the other oil type plays. But VPs might have something on their own today because they're
Yeah, they
moving
might.
rather well.
Yeah.
Compare. Well, no, Oxy's doing the same thing. XOM not as much, but BP, yeah, we'll see. I would never put this on here, but given everything that's going on, might be a good one to see what happens here. Oxy and VP, we'll put on the list for now. See what's happening there. And the fake Google here, GOGL. This was on our list yesterday. This is down 2.1, and again,
Goggles.
just horrible. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
All right, we'll skip on that.
I think you skipped over BBY on the gap up. They had earnings this morning. That could be a good one. I almost took it long in the low 90s. I wish I would have.
BBY is definitely a good one. I'm going to add this on here, guys. Yeah, they do
Just
trade
be
very
careful.
well.
Yeah, it can. The volume's been a little sporadic this morning. It's been a little thin, frankly. The spread is 40-ish cents right now. So it can move pretty quick. We'll see how it goes once the market opens.
Yeah. BBBY on the list for sure. Norm, anything else you like on your end that we can add to this list?
I mean, the stuff we've already discussed, and then that's kind of, yeah. I mean, I've already thrown everything out there. I think that I've got separate from this list.
Gotcha. All right, folks, let's get to our chat room and see what we have going on here. I'm gonna just go ahead and stop this from scrolling down automatically. There we go. Yeah. Let's go and Harry. Let's start here with Fabio. You're giving us. I missed a few. Actually, we have Plug, Midas. Let's take a look at Plug. I know it was had earnings 2 days ago, maybe yesterday. I forget. But we had it on our list. But look how choppy this was, man. This was just up and down with everything going on, and then just sideways action here towards the end. Just not a whole lot happening there. Harry, thank you for the $5 donation, my friend. Good morning, BBT. With
Yes,
a
sir.
day we are having, check out
Scarface.
CSRFCE. Scarface. Nice. Very good, my friend. Appreciate the support there. Thank you. Let's take a look at so Plug this morning. I'd love the daily. I mean, we're getting higher lows in here. So this is nice up against this 25. 50 looks like. So that looks interesting. But if it had a day like it had yesterday, I mean, this thing is not going to be no fun at all. I think it's a good possible for a potential breakout if we can get that going. That's the only thing I see that I like right now. So I'm with you there. You look at the same thing. KR, did we look at KR? This Kroger, I mean, I haven't had no success trading this. So they're in play today. They're popping up. And we really got to wait for the market open for this one to get going. Right now, we're not seeing a whole lot. It is a nicey stock. So we'll see. It's a big pop, 5.7. We could come back to that one. BD trades. Heading down, BBY looks good. We have that on deck. A Plug, a Tesla, and Facebook. Let's take a look. We have Plug. Let's take a look at Tesla today. Tesla this morning, pretty much flat right now. Not a whole lot going on. Same as Plug, right? We have this higher lows being built here up against this area of resistance. It's just got to see how the market's going to be today. That could be a nice breakout as well. And Ford's been making a lot of noise, but I don't know about it. I mean, yesterday, what they do here, they did get some. Yeah, they actually did get some pretty good pops yesterday compared to how the market was. So, are we going back up to 25 here in Ford, Norm? What's your thoughts on this? The day looks interesting. I got to say that. I got to give you that.
I don't know. I took that one trade on Ford yesterday or the day before. I don't think I'll look at it again.
Okay. All right, let's take a look here, guys. Heading back down, KR. Finish off of 4. We'll put it here as a possible. They've been making a somewhat more noise the last couple of days, so we'll put it forward there. SoFi. Yeah, SoFi, you know what? I don't know, man. This stock is just the price action. I am not a fan of. They get great volume, but the price action is just not clean at all. If you guys spend some time watching this one at the market open, it doesn't give you great price action. I mean, the pullbacks, I don't like the way the pullbacks happen on this thing, right? So today I'm not seeing anything great. Yesterday we did have great pre-market activity. We're not seeing that today. So I'm not a big fan of how it looks right now. INTC, unless there's any news on this one, I'm not seeing a reason to put it on because they can trade very choppy at times. Right now, they're pretty much quiet for the most part. So INTC, I'm not going to add that on the list. SoFi, yeah, SoFi could be tough. Rivian, how about Rivian? I know this was great yesterday. I'm not sure if today we're going to get some more love out of this. We might see some kind of movement here. We're at in the daily, we're at a good spot. Right, I just feel like we dropped so much yesterday. I don't know if we're gonna get like a continuation here or a great bounce. We might just get some chop, but it might be worth taking a look at this one. I know we have worse stuff on our list that we can't take off. I'd rather look at a Rivian here and see where that goes. All right, we'll stop here, guys. Let's see over in our YouTube chat. What do you guys have this morning? We'll start here with a lot of you guys throwing 4, so 4 is on deck. KR all-time high with this. Yeah, it might be a good break. I agree. Roblox. Let's take a look there. Roblox. RBLX. Roblox this morning. What do we have going on? Pretty quiet. No volume. Really quiet right now. So nothing going on just yet. Fraser, you're giving us CAN. CAN this morning. A good pop. What is this, by the way? it looks like we looked at it before because we have levels here. But active pre-market activity, this is Canaan. I'm not sure what they do, but they had earnings pre-market today. So could be interesting. We'll add it on here. Definitely very active. 1.9 million shares traded. A little bit of lower price, which I don't like as much, but we'll come back to that. Right. Thank you for that one. Ford is good. Sunrun. What is that? It's not a ticker, but I'm gonna try it anyways, just in case. No, it's not a ticker. Sunrun. I don't know what that is. CCTYQ. Antonio, what is this? CCTYQ. Is that a SPAC? I'm not sure what that is. Heading down, LMT, Lockheed Martin grew.
Sunrun is RUN, by the way.
Okay, RUN. There we go. Oh, no. Nope. This is no good, guys. No activity, no volume. There's nothing happening here. So, yeah, no on Sunrun for now. And then I was looking at LMT. You know, Lockheed Martin, they don't trade very well. It's another no. I mean, they have a great daily, but intraday trades on these things are very tough. They just don't get volume. You know, just don't get no volume.
Somebody suggesting we should look up Circuit City.
Circuit City. Oh yeah, that's great. Coin.
They go out of business 14 years ago, I think.
Yeah. Man, Circuit City. We used to love that place. As a kid, AI. What is this? No, we looked at that. All right, guys. I think we're pretty good. I think some of the stuff you guys are throwing out here are not really in play right now, or at least not looking better than what we have on our list. And we have a lot on our list that's going to get chopped out of this list, right? So we'll come back to that. Let's go to our community events and announcements. Who's coming up for the rest of the week, and we'll come back and fine tune this list here, guys.
All right, guys. Ed's webinar is posted on journaling. Ed thinks that is his most important webinar, period. So check that out. My camera is lagging for whatever reason today a little bit. So just a heads up there if it looks like I'm a ventriloquist and flaunting my ventriloquist powers. Next Monday is Kyle doing DAS Trader Pro Q&A during the tech session. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern. Lightning bolt pattern that is posted by Peter, and then next Tuesday 8 p.m. Eastern is Mike talking about how to determine when to move your stop loss to break even. Dr. Reed's webinar is already posted from last night, avoiding the trading trance. And then 5 p.m. Eastern next Wednesday, we've got Creta talking about how to identify negative thinking that causes losing trades. Very interesting topic. For mentorship, can somebody let me know are we covering Andrews? If so, who it is? And
I'll be covering Andrew.
That's right, you are.
Today.
I even said it yesterday. I'm an idiot. You have a subject, or are you just gonna?
No, we're just gonna kind of go in there, do a bit of a open session Q&A type play.
Mm-hmm. All right. If I'm around, I'll hop in with you and pester you. Let's see here. 4:30, you got Ed's mentorship on Thursdays, and then you've got Thor at 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget about stocktradingsimulator.com, our free web-based replay simulator. You can go to stocktradingsimulator.com, try out previous trades. You can also sign up for homework assignments while you're there in that email box. We don't sell that list or spam it or anything like that. You can use the promo code premarket24 if you're on YouTube. Just go to bearbulltraders.com, scroll down about halfway down the page. You'll see that test drive now button. Click it, fill it out, use the promo code for the discount. It bills you one time. It's not a recurring payment. You'll get 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. Also includes the onboarding class that Carlos does every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you'd like to become an elite member and get access to all of the webinars I've described, both future and past recordings, you can use the promo code lovers50 to get half off.
All right, thank you, Norm, for that. Guys, let's get to our list this morning. Let's review this. Right now, we have Apple. We have, which, by the way, looking pretty good. NVIDIA trying to get to that green previous day close.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you did anything, dude, but I was lagging on my camera by like a good 45 seconds, and somehow it's caught back up. I don't know if that's something
I
on your
just-
end or my end or
on
what.
my end, I just clicked on your camera and put it big and see why I was doing that, but nothing else besides that. So we'll have to figure out why that happens.
All right.
But yeah, yep. So NVIDIA, guys, coming up here, trying to get into the green. Apple does look very good, though, guys. Good volume, and we're breaking out pretty nice right now on Apple. Love the daily as well. We'll do some fresh levels for that. Here it is, NVIDIA. We'll take a look at that one. Let's remove some of the older levels because now towards the bottom on a lot of these stocks, we do have highs and lows in the last 2 trading days that are overlapping some of the levels we had from previous days, right? So we're going to put some fresh ones there. Same thing with AMD, right? You have yesterday's levels overlapping here, so we're going to get rid of those, and we'll clean that this bad boy up here. There we go. So we'll clean that up. CHPT and BBBY. Okay, we'll clean this up as well. All right, good. Let's go here. So Apple is good. NVIDIA, nice. AMD, all 3 techs are looking very well. NVIDIA is probably the least favorite right now, but that can get going pretty quickly. Just to make space and not be all tech heavy, I'm going to put NVIDIA down since AMD and Apple seem to be running rather well early on. So we'll keep those 2 on there. Charge point, not great volume after earnings last night. They are gapping up 7.6. So I'm looking forward to seeing some volume pour into the market, pour into this stock when the market opens. BBBY already has got great volume. This is moving very well. Again, just a reminder, guys, stocks like this that can move, $2, $3, $4.
Be sure to clarify it's BBY, not BBBY.
Yes, sorry, yes, BBY, correct, BBY, just 2 B's. Stocks like this that can move so much, you don't need to take a huge size. You can take, a couple of 100 shares, 100 shares, even 50 shares if you're starting out, and you can still make some pretty good money, right? So just, you don't have to load the boat. And if it goes against you, because it can, you're not risking a whole lot to hurt yourself, right? We can't stress enough, trading small and risk management. Your strategies cannot be great. You don't have to be a great strategy, have a huge, amazing edge. But if you have amazing risk management, you can still do well in trading, so I can't stress that enough. You got to have amazing risk management. All right, let's look at some of the possible stuff here. CAN, Ford. No, let's see what we can move up. That looks great. Oxy's in play today, guys. Oxy right now, 311, dropping here. So I'm going to move up Oxy. You can also take a look at BP. BP actually moving down as well. So I'm going to keep that as a secondary on there. So those are taking a bit of a drop this morning. Facebook. What is Facebook up to? We're keeping a close eye on Facebook. And I'm not going to add it to my main list, but I'm going to move it up on my secondary list because it's getting some activity here, trying to stay in the green at the moment. CAN, a good paso. Ford, we'll keep on here. BP is good. Billy, I have way too many that look decent. Snow, no, I'm not going to trade. It's just the way this thing is moving here. It's just doesn't fall into what I'm looking to do here. Plug, nothing's still happening here. I love the daily, but that's about it. So that's not going to be enough to keep it on my list. KR, this is going to be the sleeper today, I think. I think this is one that you're going to keep your eyes off, and it's just going to either run or sell off. But this gap up at here, 5.8, yeah, we can definitely expect something there. Rivian, I'm just going to take it off. I think I have better stuff on the list right now. If one of you guys are watching that, we can call something out if you see something great there. So there we go. A better fine-tuned list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the top. We can add one more. 6 is the number here. Let's see. Man, am I adding 4 today? I think we're adding 4 today, guys. Yeah, NVIDIA picking up there. No, I'm adding Facebook today. I'm adding Facebook to the top list. Let's see. We'll look at Facebook there. All right, that's the list there. There we go. Let's get to some levels, guys. Here it is. Apple this morning doing very, very nice. I love the volume today. One of my favorite stocks so far this morning. Towards the bottom, we'll focus there first. The only thing I'm going to mark down is the low of the pre-market, right around 165.92. So we'll throw that right on there, 165.92. And the high of the pre-market is just continues to be created here. So I'm not going to mark it just yet. We'll come back to that. But over here, let's look at the top side of things here. clear level here, 171, right? Clear level of support right on this. So you want to have that down towards the top. You obviously have this one all the way up here, which is 176. But in between here, you have an area you want to mark down. It's going to be this 173. It might be 174 to be exact. A lot of days opening, closing right around that level there. So I'm going to definitely have that there just in case we get to that area. But the next significant level is going to be this one, this 171. 27 as far as the daily goes. We might make a stop over at 170. 170. These whole dollar numbers are going to be interesting. So I'm going to mark that down. It might be 170, 169, 673. I'll throw a level there as well. But that's what you have there for Apple. Looking really strong right now. And then we'll wait for this to settle out, this breakout we're getting here. And we'll pick off our high of the day when that does happen. AMD, very similar situation, but much cleaner daily here, right? So right now we're smack in the middle of the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, just slightly above the previous day close. As far as levels towards the top, we're looking at 124.48. We'll put a level there, and then above that we are looking at this daily. Very clean level here. I mean, this one just sticks out for sure. This 131.75. Again, that's far, so that's some way from where we're sitting at the price right now, but that's a clear level you definitely want to mark down. And then this one here is more of a minor level, doesn't have a lot of weight to it. You have only a couple of days, 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5-ish, maybe on there, 128.16. Worth noting that level. I think there's just a lot of activity enough to have it on there. What I like about this one is you have to change in direction, right? When you hit these levels, these areas, and you change direction, that's always fun. And no coincidence, if you look, in the previous weeks, you could see that has been amazing support for AMD here before we had the drop off. Charge point starting to pick up a little bit here. Still not great volume. Might be more of a possible if it doesn't pick up volume close to the open. And then we just wait to see how the open does here. 1478 low of the pre-market, the high of the pre-market right now. I'm going to wait for that. I'm just actually going to add just a level here, 1549. We'll see a lot of stocks getting a little bit of a run here. Is the SPY running? I don't have the SPY chart up. Let's see. SPY or the Qs. Okay, there we go. SPY is running, pushing everything a little bit higher here. The Qs are running as well. So that's what's costing this little bump we're getting now here. So very nice. CHPT charge point towards the top. Now we're going to mark down another level here. I like this one here, 1611. 1611, you can see a little more of a defined level there on charge point. Not great, not a lot of touches, but better than anything else I'm seeing around that area. BBY, high of the pre-market all the way up here, guys, at 110, 111, 111, so 111.11, right? 111, no, 111, yeah, 111 is the high of the pre-market there. Towards the bottom, we do have 90.90 is the low of the pre-market. And you have the middle section here with just your highs and lows, your previous day close. So that box, they're covering all of that at the moment. In the pre-market already, we have moved so much and made so much changes here as far as direction that this level, this 105 off the pre-market, is worth noting. We ran so much, guys. We ran from $100 at the previous day close all the way to 110. That's a $10 move. Pre-market is going to give you some good levels to follow. Here you have a nice one there, and right over here is 105. Definitely want to have that in play. We're going to go back to our left here. You can see that 105 is on the daily. It's hitting a couple of areas on there. Just trying to pick off to see if between 110 and the price now, if we have any crazy levels here that are worth noting. Maybe not a huge level, but 108.22 seems to have some touches there as well. Above 110, in case we get going, we have a very clean area right here. This is far out, 115, but again, a stock that can move $10 just like that. That's not a huge move or something far-fetched, really. So that can definitely happen. So that's BBY, guys. Very active, up 4.4, was up higher and got some good volume this morning. Here is Oxy. We're getting a little bit of a drop. Still stuck between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. You guys know how I feel about this when it comes to levels. I think sometimes the price action is more important. We haven't been up here in a long time for Oxy. I don't see anything, past, when's the last time we were up here on Oxy? Man, we're going back 2019. Maybe 2020, we might have touched on some levels here, but we're going pretty far back here. Let's see. I'm not sure how significant these are going to be for this stock specifically, but we'll do 50.81 and we'll do 53.02. I'm just going to do major levels. I'm not going to get in here and look at all this crazy detail, just the major one, because we're really far out here. I'm not going to be picking stuff off that doesn't look pretty strong as far as levels. So here we are bouncing off the lows from yesterday. Let's see where this goes. And then we have Facebook as well, taking a little bit of a pop here. And you guys know Facebook at any minute can really get going here. I have the pre-market right now. Let's see if that's going to hold 209.87. And then towards the top, we have a few levels here. I have 217.38. And right up here, we do have 229. So we'll see. I like Facebook for a possible long. That's what we've been waiting for on this one. Not really interested in the short side just yet, but we'll see how that plays out. All right, that's our list, guys. We have Apple. Again, the SPY overall market taking a little bit of a pop here, which is reflecting in many of the stocks on our list, except BBY, because probably popped up so much, right? So it's already pretty nice here on the last couple of minutes we had here in the pre-market. Oxy is good, and Facebook is nice as well. Excellent. Looking good this morning. Things definitely turned around a little bit. It wasn't great when we first started, but we're looking good right now. All right, here we go. Let's take a look here. Let's start with, what time is it? Oh, we have plenty of time, guys. So we got time to get into some things here, get into some Q&A action. Before we do that, guys, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We're hitting at 132 likes. We'd love to be at our goal of 250. That does help us out a ton. So if you could take just a few seconds, hit that. We appreciate it very, very much. Let's see here what we got going on.
Are we doing Q&A?
Yeah, let's do some Q&A. Let's get into it.
All right. Well, Jesus put in here. He said this he asked this a while ago, so I'll take this first. What do you look for on pre-market trading? Sometimes at first glance, you love or hate a stock. Yeah, I mean, volume is number one. I trade pre-market more often than you do, Carlos. I think and people ask me to do a webinar. There's not really that much to it. That's why I haven't done a webinar on it. I want to see volume trading like the market's open, generally. Is essentially what I'm looking for when I'm trading something pre-market. So easy answer on that.
I see people asking, why did we reject Snow? Why did I reject Snow? When I'm
hard to manage risk, I would guess your answer, right?
Yeah, it's hard to manage risk on this thing, man. I mean, this thing is moving.
Very spready. It's got candles on. I'm looking at the 1 minute, Carlos, and if you just go back a few candles here, I see several candles that are more than a $2 move in 1 minute.
Right.
It's primarily due to a huge spread and some thin action, so that makes it tough to trade.
Yeah,
that's my answer.
And if you're thinking, and that's my answer too, Norman, if you think it was going to get better at the market open, it can, but for the most part, look at the volume you're getting. This right here is a 270 to 240 to 270, a $30 move almost, maybe more. And you traded, what's this? This looks to be 5.2 million shares traded. That kind of tells you what kind of price action that's going to be. And when you have a stock that, again, that can drop like this, look at this drop here, right? It looks like it's doing kind of a little bull flag. And then you get this drop that's $2. What I'm going to take, 10 shares. Yeah, it's just that's just my opinion on it. All right, let's see what else we got, guys. Can I use chart login? Yes, you can. You should be able to. Yes, you could do that. Did you look at AI? Very clean action has earnings. I think we did. We didn't like something about it. Yeah, it's very thin on volume, guys. I mean, I know right now it has 463,000 shares traded, but I'm looking at the daily. And I'm just not liking what I'm seeing here as far as the daily goes with volume. Can we be wrong? Can this thing be nice today? Yes. I think it can be a little choppy though this morning. We'll have to see. So that's my reason for it. And
I personally think AI might be okay.
Yeah. It might. Look at this.
If I can find something over $100, I'd rather do that too instead of trade a $20, $24 stock.
Yeah. So, what's the catalyst on this, by the way, today? What do we have on it? Is it
earnings? I believe
earnings. Okay.
No.
Earnings
last night.
Earnings last night. Okay. Yeah. So this might be good today, guys. I can watch, more than 6. It's just too many. But I look at this one and I look at the stuff I have on here, and this one to me is like one of those. It could be borderline, so I'm just gonna keep it off. But you can keep it on your list, and if you see something great, we'll appreciate it if you call that out in the chat room. That's for sure. Right, what else we have, guys? Let's see. We have some over on YouTube here. You can use limit order. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Is Snow on SSR, Ben? It might be.
What's that?
Is Snow? It's on SSR. I missed it. I don't know if it is. No, it's not on SSR.
It will be at the
Oh, it
market
will be.
open.
You're saying? Oh, because of the drop.
SSR doesn't
Yeah,
trigger till the market
yeah,
opens.
yeah. Because of the drop, it will be on
Unless
SSR.
it
Correct.
unless it pops up another $20 or something, it'll be on SSR the second the market opens. There's a couple of questions here asking about pre-market trading. How do you get in and out quickly during pre-market since you can't set stop losses? I generally use mental stops anyway. So somebody else asked me, what hotkey do I use to trade pre-market? The exact same hotkey script I use during regular market hours. I don't have any special pre-market scripts. And I get out by pressing a hotkey to close a position. So.
Yep. What happens is, guys, with IB, and if you're with CMEG or any other brokers, I know you can't do that. With IB allows you to convert that into a marketable limit order, and you can't get filled. But I know with CMEG, people that try that, it gets rejected. So CMEG is a little bit different, and maybe your other brokers might be a little bit different when it comes to that pre-market action.
Also, Toro's asking, why don't stops work in the pre-market? There is no such thing as a stop order outside of regular market hours, 9:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern. That is because the market can be extremely volatile then. You can have, and I'm not, think of it more in terms of a longer term hold you might have or an investment. And you put a stop on that, and there's the level 2 is essentially empty. There's a lot of stuff that trades very thin that will have, it might trade at $50, and then after the market closes, there's really no orders. You might have an order, somebody trying to get a fat finger with $100,000 per share, on the ask, and somebody bidding 1 cent on the bid. And if something happened and that got triggered by accident, then you would sell your position for a penny.
Yep. Someone's asking if this is live right now. Yes. Look at an Apple chart and you'll see we are live. No question.
It's 9:11 a.m. Eastern in 5 seconds. We are live. March 3rd, my dad's birthday.
Oh, it's your dad's birthday today?
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Young.
Nice. Sweet. Happy birthday to him. Hopefully you guys have a great day today. How do you cover yourself in an overnight trade? Well, I don't usually hold stuff overnight, but you can cover yourself. How do you cover? You just don't know. That's the scary part of overnight trading. You can wake up to a disaster. Like we've seen, right? These companies gap up and down 20-30%. It's dangerous. It's tough. You got to have a strategy for it. It's a whole different ball game. Trading to hold overnight, swing trading and all that stuff.
You can trade SPY overnight. Scion roster from Brazil. That is so. Though when you say you can trade SPY overnight, you're probably talking about internalization within some brokers like TD Ameritrade. Allow some tickers to be traded 24 hours a day. They're essentially what's happening is that they're allowing trading between their clients only in-house. It's not going through the exchange. It's internalized stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's see how our moderators lineup is looking up. 9:12. We still got a couple of minutes here, so if you guys have any questions, we can look into that. But our moderators are ready with their list there, so we'll get into that.
Let's go to YouTube.
Yeah, let's go to YouTube Habs here. Does anyone else take trades based on the 8th order fill candle as an indicator? The 8th order fill candle as an indicator?
No, not here. Sorry.
Do you stare at the 1 minute candlesticks for day trading and make reference to other minutes? No, I personally look at the 5 minute. I want to see something happening there. And then I'll look at the 1 minute for a more precise entry. But the 5 minutes is what I'm looking at. And you could look at different time frames. The bigger the time frame is, the more time you have to make a decision. The smaller it is, the faster you have to make a decision. The patterns are the same on any time frame, right? On a daily, on a 60-minute, on a 15-minute, 5 minute, 1 minute. I hear people, there's a 30-minute like out there. It just gets crazy. But it depends on your trading style, right? I like the 5-1. Norm, I think you do 5-1, right? Or you do something different?
Yeah, 5. Well, I've got 5-1, but I also look at longer time frames: 15s, 30s,
Right.
60s, weeklies,
I know
dailies.
later in the morning, I don't usually trade around past 11, but later in the morning, I do look at that 15. That 15 and that 5 become more important as the day goes on. Things slow down a little bit. You need to be able to look at a bigger picture. Your stop needs to be a little bit wider. So, all right, let's see what else. Do you guys use trailing stops on your trading? I do not, but I know there's some people that do. They get into a profit situation and they put a trailing stop and just go about their day. So there's some people that do. I don't do a trailing stop. I do mental stops just like you, Norm. But
I
it's so
per
many things you could do.
People do it, and I guess it works for them. I personally don't believe in trailing stops for day trades.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Too many times, things can chop and move back and forth too much for me for that. I'd
Yep.
rather I put range orders, and I'll put a variety of range orders because I have specific targets. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Best Buy, and I'm not saying that this is I'm just making up these numbers out of thin air. These are not my targets. But let's say, it's at 105 and hypothetically I go long and my target's 110.
Right.
I don't want it to go to 109.58 and then come back down $2 and then go
Mm-hmm.
to 110. And I've stopped out because of my trailing stop. So I put range stops in. I'll put a variety of them. Let's say I have 400 shares. I might
Yep.
put 100 shares that has a stop at 105 and then 108 for the top end of the range, and then another 100 that's 105 at the bottom and 109, another 100 that's 105 and 110, and then another that's 105 and 115, who knows, in case it runs real far. So that's how I
Yep.
do mine instead of a trailing stop.
Yep. All right, guys, we are out of time. And maybe one of these days we'll do a live session, just Q&A for our friends here on YouTube and in the chat. But we are done.
Yeah, it'd be
Actually,
fun.
yeah, that will be fun. And actually, talking about Q&A, today is Thursday, so we have John. What time, Norm? 1 p.m. I always forget because I know we've been switching. My mistake for forgetting the time here. It's either 1 or 2. But for our
What's that?
newer members,
What's that? The new trader Q&A? It's 2
yeah,
o'clock Eastern.
2 o'clock. Okay, I remember that, guys. So for new traders, especially, it don't have to be a new trader. If you have any questions overall, 2 p.m. today, John will be in the classroom answering any question, no matter how simple you think it is. This was specifically made for newer traders because sometimes you have a question you don't want to ask in the main room. This is a great session for you to come in with the questions, write them down, and you can get John's to answer them for you. So definitely tune into that. All right, with that said, let's bring over our moderators lineup, guys, over on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up as we're moving this over. We would love to be at that 250. We're at 218. Just need a few more. Appreciate it very, very much. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup. We have starting with Jared Snow, BBY, Charge Point, and then some energy stocks there. Tiffany, Apple, BBY, Snow. Mike is looking at Apple and BBY as well. Thor, Apple, I think we all have BBY there. Spy, secondary list, Billy and Snow. Dima, BBY as well. Facebook, AMD, and Apple. Susan is looking at Apple, Nvidia, and AMD. Still evaluating that one. All right. As far as SPACs and IPOs, nothing at the moment. Peter is looking at AMD, Apple, Indo, and secondary list Facebook. I'm sorry, not Facebook. Ford, BBY, Billy, and KR. Megan, MU, and BBY. And this morning, Brian has Billy, BJ, Oxy, DKNG, and also Lucid LCID this morning on his list. So Brian and I believe Thor are up next with live trading, guys, over on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. We are 228. We can get a couple of more likes. Appreciate you guys very much. So again, yes, 2 p.m., guys, for those asking, 2 p.m. Eastern time today with John. Have a great trading day. We'll see you guys tomorrow to end the week. Looking forward to see how this market is going to end. So take care, everyone.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.